Hello and welcome back to Miss Craft's Let's Layer. I am Barbie and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I'm here to show you how to make this super cute thank you card. Look at that. Now, to start off with, this is using the Celebration Heartfelt Blooms set, and this is we're using this flower and then the thank you sentiment today. This set is going to be going bye-bye on the 31st, so just to March 31st, just to let you know. Here I have my card base. It is a Whisper White piece of cardstock. It is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, folded and scored and folded at 4 1/4. Then I have this panel for the front. This is going to span the entire front of the card. So this is 5 inches, or 5.5 inches rather, by 4 1/4 inches. And this is going to go ahead and just adhere straight to the front of the card. I'm also using a piece of Old Olive today. This is 3.5 inches by 1 inch, and then a piece of Whisper White for the sentiment. This is 2 1/4 inches by 3/4 inches. And I'm also going to be using the layering circle framelit dies. Where do I have those hanging out? Right here. And for today, we are going to be using this one right here. So that would be the third largest, I believe. Yep, third largest of the circle dies. All right. And for inks today, we're going to be using Crumb Cake and the Basic Black. I'm going to use Basic Black here real fast to stamp the thank you sentiment. Hopefully this is going to work out for me. I generally stamp these and then cut them down to size. Just for the fact that I don't always trust myself. So here I'm doing this on camera, so oh boy. And get this centered on here as best as possible. Hey, not too bad. Not too shabby. That was it for my Basic Black. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my Crumb Cake here. So then that way I can go ahead and my overly abused scrap paper here. And I'm going to stamp this large flower image onto my scrap paper here. I'm so sad that Celebration is so close to being over. It's not exactly one of my favorite times to say goodbye to Celebration. But there is still time if you want to grab a hold of some of these stamp sets. There is still time up. So I would recommend grabbing them while you can. Now I'm going to let this dry just a bit here, and then I will show you how I come up with how I like to, how I am going to cut that out. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this piece to the front of my card. You might want to use just a tad bit extra snail on this, just for the fact that running it through the Big Shot with the embossing folder kind of tends to warp it a little bit, and it makes it like to come up from the card. And I'm going to cheat here and open up this card just here. Whoops. Things getting stuck to my cards. And there's that down. The next part, and like I said on other videos, I like to get this as close to possible or close to what I had as possible. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is about 1.5 inches from the bottom part of the card. And so with my grid paper here, I'm going to go up about 1.5 inches, which is right about there, 6 squares. Put that down. And I'm going to go ahead and not quite put this down quite yet, but I'll show you where that heads up. And I will show you how I come up with where I'd like to cut out. Obviously, wherever you put this around, it's going to cut it out. I think that goes without saying. But just in case, I like to get it here. I really like this middle flower. So I want to make sure as much of that is getting into my cutout as possible. So I go for about here. So I will go and take this to my Big Shot, and I will be right back. Alright, now I'm back. Here I have my piece here all cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of my card as well, because I want this to be kind of between the two layers. So I'm going to go ahead and position this where I want it. Kind of eyeballing with the loose sentiment here. And there we have that down. The sentiment next. Roughly around where I want it here. There we go. And the final touch that I wanted to put on this particular card were the pearl basic jewels. And my placement on these is I go with the first one is the middle one, and I don't quite push that down, just so that way I have a little bit of room, of wiggle room as to push these guys around before they're too stuck there. And my third one, the rules of 3, I think 3 on a card. Odd numbers, actually, but I really like the number 3, so it works for me. So I like how that one's placed, so I'm going to go ahead and push this one this way just a bit. And stick them down. And there we are. A finished card. I hope you liked this, and if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to have plenty more videos for you. And until next time.